Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rob, and this is RH Midwest Comics. And today I'm doing another price analysis. Now, the first one of these I did was a couple weeks ago, and I did it on Amazing Fantasy 15, and people liked it. They showed interest. I got some questions on some things and some messages. So I decided I would do another one, and I'm probably going to do a few of these and see if people continue to like it. So if you remember the one I did for Amazing Fantasy 15, I looked at the highest price that we saw over the course of the past couple years, which was almost always in 2021. There were some grades that didn't peak until 2022, but in general, it's 2021, right, during the COVID boom, as we call it. And then I compared it to the last sale in 2022, which was typically either in November and December. For Amazing Fantasy 15, when we looked at all the different grades from high to the last sale, it was down on average 46% from the high. So interesting analysis. We're seeing big price corrections on almost all keys. So I wanted to do another one. And today I'm looking at another major key issue, and we're going into the Bronze Age, and we're going to do Hulk 181, which is the first appearance of Wolverine. And I know there's a big debate out there because he did show up in 180. So some people call that a cameo and then call 181 the full appearance, first full appearance, and the first time he's on the cover. Not going to get into that debate today, but we're going to look at those prices because that is the more valuable book by far. So again, we're going to go through the grades, and I've taken all the grades that, again, had a sale in either November or December of 2022. And the reason I didn't take anything prior to that, meaning if the last sale was in, August, I'm not adding that into the comparison because, there was a lot of action and a lot of correction happening in November, December, and I wanted to capture that and kind of get through the entire year. And that way we have, kind of a window of, during the boom to the end of 22. And as of today, it's January 22nd. I'm not including January data because we've still got like a week and a half left in the month. But once we get into February, the next book I do, I'll probably, I don't know, I might do one more in January. But once we get into February, whatever books I choose to do, and I'll go and revisit over time. I'll go back to books like AF-15 and Hulk 181. But I'll start including the most recent completed month, just so that we have the latest and greatest data. So, okay, so here's GPA. This is their website. And I'm just going to show you a few examples of what the graphs look like and the trends. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, and then we're going to get right into the data analysis, okay? So when you look here are the grades on the left-hand side. Yep, starts at 9.8 and goes all the way down to 0.5 and even incomplete books. And I'm only including Blue Label Universal data in this. So no signature series, no qualified books, no restoration, nothing like that. Only Blue Universal labels. So when you look at the first grade, right, 9.8, here's what it looks like in terms of the trend. All right, you can see pretty steady for many, many years, and then around 2016 it starts heating up, and then bam, you get into 2021 and 22 and it really skyrockets. And now you see a big correction coming on the tail end of this trend here. So what does that look like? When you look down here, you can see the highs and lows from each year. So for 9.8, the record-breaking sale actually happened in 22 and not in 21, although you can see, things really started jumping in 21. But the highest amount for a 9.8 was $138,000. And then the low in 2022 was $84,000. Okay, now you can look here, right? No spoilers. Unfortunately, there is a spoiler here, and it's the fact that I'm showing you the 2023 data, and there was an even lower sale of $69,000. So the first sale in 2023 was 69 grand. So that's not going to be part of our averages, but at least it's a little glimpse into what's going on in 2023 for you guys. But in general, this is what the chart looks like, and you're going to see a pretty familiar trend when we go down to the other grades. This is the 9.6. Again, not as much of a correction here on a 9.6, but you can see, right? Definitely down from its peak, and you got some ups and downs in here. Then you go down to the 9.4, same thing, you know, big correction happening. 9.2, big correction. 9.0, big correction, and so on and so forth. So, again, right, don't want to spend a lot of time here. I want to get right into the data and show you what all the averages look like in terms of corrections. And then I'm going to do one more thing that I didn't do for the AF15 comparison. After we go through all the individual grades on the next slide that I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you an overall trend over 2 years from the beginning of 2020 to the end of 2022. And that way we'll get a really good glimpse on what the book has done, with all grades included, from prior to COVID, right? And the whole, you know, free money, cheap money boom where collectibles and everything, right, skyrocketed, to, you know, after that, post-COVID, the end of 2022. So I'll show that at the end as well. Again, that's something a little bit different. I didn't have that for the AF15 comparison. Okay, so let's get right into the individual grades and see how they've done. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do something very similar to what we did last time on Amazing Fantasy 15. I'm going to put up the grade, the highest price that we saw during the COVID boom, the last sale in 2022, and then the percent change. And you know, all of these percent changes are going to be in the downward direction. Okay, so the first one we looked at was the 9.8. Again, there was a high sale of $138,000 on 9.8, and that was actually in 2022. And then the last sale at the end of 2022 was $90,000, so down 35%. 9.6, high sale of $36,000. The last sale of 2022 was just over $31,000, so a decrease of only 13%. So just a little insight into what we're seeing in January, and I won't do this with all the grades, but I believe the first sale in January on the 9.6 was around $26,000. So the drop continues on that grade as well. Regardless, how we're comparing it today, it's a 13% drop. And then the 9.4, 42% drop. And you can see, right, almost everything is in the 40 or 50% range. There is one grade in here. It's the 6.0 here. You can see only a 23% drop. But regardless, everything else 40s and 50s. So I didn't go below a 5.0 on this page, just visually, so that we could see the numbers okay. Otherwise, I'd have to kind of cram everything in. But as the grades go down even further, again, right, almost everything is 40 or 50% drop, or somewhere in that range. All right, so when we take all the grades and average them together, we have an overall trend of down 40%. If you remember AF15, that trend was down 46%. So this is very, very similar to that. And I think we're going to see that on a lot of these key issues as I keep doing these, okay? So now we're going to do something a little bit different here before we end the video. I'm going to show you the overall sales price averages for all the different grades. So you can see here, here's the graph. The graph starts all the way on the left-hand side in January of 2020, and it goes all the way to the end of 2022. So we get a good snapshot of what the trend looked like prior to COVID, during the COVID boom, and now after. So these are all the average sale prices of each grade for each month. So you can see way over here in January 2020 where the line starts. All the grades averaged together, people were spending roughly, this is between $80,000 and $90,000 in January. And then you go all the way up to this high point of September of 2022, and it's $2,030, $2,040,000. So a lot more money being spent on all these grades combined. And then of course you see the the correction beginning here. And I think once I add the January data point on, After January ends, we're going to see it continue to decrease here. All right. But regardless, this is still a huge increase, right? Even if I draw the line from the beginning of 20 to the end of 22 with the correction, still a big increase, right? When I take the low point of 2020, people were spending on average, spending $80,000 on Hulk 181s when you combine all the different grades. Take that to the end of 2022, and people are spending now almost $181,000. So even with the correction, we are seeing a huge increase of over 125%. So this is massive. And the reason I'm showing this is because I want to make sure the message is clear. A lot of people see that prices have been correcting, and they have been, right? We've gone through 2 books now, 2 massive grails. Both have significant corrections of 40 or 46%, depending on which video you're looking at, on average per grade. But the amount of money being spent on Hulk 181 is still 125% higher than what it was back at the beginning of 2020. So, I don't want people to walk away from these videos thinking, oh my gosh, right, this book is down. It's, comic books are losing value. Well, again, right, we're seeing a correction, a much needed correction. Almost everybody here would agree, unless you sank a lot of money in back in 2021 or with this book, if you bought that 9.8 in September of 2022, yeah, it's going to be a while before you get your money back on that. All right. So again, the message is we're seeing big corrections, but the values are still significantly higher than they were in 2020. All right. So that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to need a week or so to maybe get that done. I don't know which book I'm going to do now, but I have some ideas. And if you like this video, again, right, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. In the comments, give me your suggestion on what book you want to see next. And always feel free to reach out to me and just chat on any of my social media sites. Again, I have Instagram, I have an eBay store, and I have a website. Everything is RH Midwest Comics. So I really appreciate everyone watching this. Again, I hope you liked it. And until next time, have a great day.